right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Spotless Minds podcast. It's your host, Olivia Jonale. Now, you might be wondering, why am I talking like this today? It is because I am with my sister from another Mr. Mrs. Elyon. I'm going to let her introduce herself because, she's brilliant. She can do it by herself. So, Miss Elyon, how are you today? First of all, how is my accent today? How did I do with that introduction?
Well, I was literally just about to say, I am loving the accent. It's very polished. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Thank you. All right. So, you're in London. So, first of all, I'll let you introduce yourself and let everyone know who you are.
Okay, cool. So, as my lovely sister from across the pond mentioned, my name is Elyon. I'm an attorney and a bar exam coach. I live in the UK, but I'm back and forth between here and the States. So that's it.
Okay. So I know you wanted to talk about, first of all, my accent's going to be in and out because some things I just can't say. But I know you wanted to talk about trademarking, and I knew you were a lawyer, but what kind of lawyer are you specifically?
Okay, so as far as the UK, I always did family law and contracts, entertainment. But as I've expanded now to the US, my primary focus is on trademarks and pretty much just anything to help business owners. I try and keep it as narrow as possible. So I just go by trademark attorney. But if at the same time someone needs help with copyright or contracts, just understanding the basics, I'm always able to help with that too. So
very cool. So I'll let you go ahead and get started with what trademarking is and why is it so important for women in business.
Okay, cool. So you've literally it's like giving candy to a kid, you telling me that. So trademarks, it's very basic and I'll explain everything in simple, short terms. It's basically just federal protection over your brand name, your brand logo, or your slogan. You can even trademark sounds. And the whole idea is to literally just differentiate your brand and your business from another. So they don't want you to be confusing one brand with another. It's more so it's your intellectual property in a way that you own it. And if someone's infringing on it or if someone's wrongfully using it, then you can take them to court, federal court specifically, if you get a federal trademark. So the importance is not just to protect you from copycats or people trying to steal your ideas, but just to make sure that customers know that this is your brand, this is who you are, and they don't try and affiliate any knockoffs or others with your brand, which would essentially cause you to lose money if people are thinking other brands are affiliated with yours when they're not.
Okay, so I understand that when it comes to brands like Nike or, clothing brands, because you don't want the fake, but does that apply to all businesses like podcasts, like life insurance, like even being a lawyer? Is that all businesses you think need one, or is it specific businesses?
Okay, so first of all, not everyone needs a trademark. I would say if you're not using it in business, just wanted to just touch on that before I answer your question properly. So if you have an idea that's a hobby, you're not using it in business, you actually can't trademark that. So basically, the only way you can trademark something is if you're using it in business. So when it comes to businesses, like you said, life insurance, if you are building a brand and you're the face of the brand, even if you're not the face of the brand, and your company has built this stellar reputation, people will know that this is a company who, I can actually deal with because I know they are legitimate, they have great reviews. You just want to protect that brand identity as a whole, your reputation. So it could be Apple. Apple is obviously in technology, or you could be a personal brand. People will even trademark their names if they are speakers and stuff, because they know that this is their brand. They don't want somebody else to have the right to use that same name, confuse customers, and ultimately get money from those who should be paying them. So
Right.
any brand, as long as you're in business, you can get a trademark.
And is
And
that
as long as I'm sorry.
like LLC business? Like it has to be official with the state, or is that just like, because my podcast isn't under LLC.
Well, that's
So
fine. An individual can also own a trademark. So if yours isn't under an LLC, that's fine. You could register it under your government name with your details, and you personally will own the trademark. Versus if you did have a business, you could register it as a under your business, and then it would be like your business owns the trademark. So I use some people, it depends, and it varies on people's situations. So I don't want to just say it's one is right or the other's not, but you can always register it as an individual under a podcast. So you're providing entertainment services by way of a podcast, touching on certain topics. If you have a specific name that you don't want others to be able to use as yours grows and blows up, then I would say, yeah, trademark that. So
okay. And then is there a certain time in your business that you need to do that? Is it after maybe you've been consistent for like, okay, I've been in business for a year, like I know I'm gonna stick around, or should you do it right away? Like what time frame or what marker should you know like it's time for a trademark?
okay, so there's two ways to answer this, but again, it depends. Everything depends on each situation individually. However, I'd say if you are just starting out and you have this brand name, you know it's going to be really big, you know it's going to be amazing. First of all, the trademark application process takes forever. It's about right now about 9 to 12 months. So if you are just starting out and you have a name, you could still practice, you could still take business without having a trademark. But the more eyes are on your brand, the more eyes are on your company, somebody can literally, and I've seen it too many times where somebody's building this brand and they haven't trademarked it, but they're still using it, they're still making money from it, and somebody else goes and registers that same name. In some cases, it's a case where they liked the name or they like it could be a direct copy. In other cases, sometimes people just come up with the same idea. Multiple people come up with the same idea at the same time, and it depends on who goes to trademark it. So one thing is when you are trademarking, you either have to have proof of how you've used it in business, or you can file under a way where you're telling the trademark office that you intend to use it. So it's the intent to use basis saying, okay, so I want to register this name. I haven't started using it in commerce yet, but I do intend to. So I'd like to put in this application, and then later down the line, I'd like to come back with the proof of how I've been using it so I can trademark it. So I would always say the earlier the better, especially if you have hope in your brand. If it's a case where you have like a logo, for example, you feel like, I might keep it, I might not, I might change it. There's no point trademarking a logo that you don't think you're going to be keeping in the long run, because once it's registered, it will last for 10 years. So yeah.
And what makes the process take 9 to 12 months?
So I guess there was like an influx of people just like, oh, I should be trademarking. I think that started from about 2021. So all these people all of a sudden had their eyes open, they all started getting their trademarks filed, which meant that the trademark office had a huge backlog. So all it is, what the majority of the way is people waiting for their applications to be given to an examining attorney. So another attorney from the trademark office will be the one examining the application to say yes or no, or this is too similar to Apple, or this is too similar to Starbucks. And you're basically waiting to get your application in front of one of those attorneys. So that's the waiting period. And then, of course, if they come back with questions or you've done something wrong or they don't want to register it, then that's another way going back and forth with them. So, yeah.
Okay. And so what even got you into trademarking?
That's a good question. So when I studied intellectual property when I was in uni, it was one of my highest scoring ones. I always had an interest for it. But actually, I now know, so I was on Dewan Mutanga's podcast, and now I understand everything as to why I ended up here, which I didn't even know before. But when I was doing family law, it was a lot of conflict and confrontation and people crying over their kids. And it was a lot to deal with. And based on I don't know how familiar you are with the DISC assessment or how it works, but okay, I'll just keep it
I've taken
basic
it.
though. Okay, yeah. So for those who don't know, I'll just keep it basic. But based on my scores, I now understand that I don't like confrontation. I don't like conflict, but I do want to help. I do want to serve. My S is a 99, meaning that I really want to help and like serve people. So I realized the higher I was going up in family law, the more I was just like, it was like I wasn't happy basically. And then I realized, wait, I've qualified in the US. Now I can do something where I'm still helping customers, helping clients, helping brands and businesses, but I don't have to have all the, conflict and confrontation and the tears and the, anger that comes with dealing with family law. So I put my foot into it. I opened my firm in November of last year. And I was like, I'm just going to plunge. I'm just going to do it. I'm tired of corporate anyway. And I just kind of stuck it out. And I've just been riding with it since last year. So
Nice.
yeah.
I like that. Okay. So I don't feel like I've asked maybe every question that needs to be asked pertaining to it. So can you give us just like anything I may have missed as far as the process?
Okay, no, you asked really good questions, first of
Okay,
all.
good.
So
Good.
you pretty much recovered the process, the timeline, the actual application, filing that part's the easier part as long as you have everything together. One thing to note is just the searching before you file a trademark. It's so, so important to actually search and make sure that it's not conflicting with another one, because if it is, then you're going to pay money to get it filed and it will get rejected. So just doing your research beforehand, checking if you can check the date. A lot of people don't know this, but you can check the trademark database for free. You
How
can
do you
go,
do
like,
that?
you don't have to go. So the website is called, you just type in trademark electronic search system. It's called TESS. And then it comes up with a search bar. It's a basic search. And if you have a name, you can just put it in there and it will show you all the results. So like Apple has multiple trademarks, Nike has multiple trademarks. You can go in and have a look. And it's kind of a hobby of mine, really sad, but it's a hobby of mine to just go in and see like what trademarks are like out there. If I meet someone, I always check, let me see if they got a trademark, and I do a little, and then I see it's there and I'm like, okay. So I go into it often and just see how other companies have done it. But yeah, it's open to the public and it's free. Obviously, if you want a deeper search or you don't want to do that, then maybe you can go to an attorney, but at least for that search part, you definitely can do it yourself as well. So
Okay, okay. I like that. All right. So my podcast is about also like keeping your self-care and your health on point. What are you doing outside of your brilliant mind and entrepreneurship? Like what are you doing? You're beautiful. What's your beauty routine? What's your self-care routine? I have been to London. I don't
oh
know if
yeah,
I've been to where you are. Do you know where the Savoy is?
the what?
The Savoy Hotel?
Oh yeah, in like Central.
Yes. So I stayed there and
Oh,
yes, it was wonderful. And I noticed it's like I guess I would say like totally different than the US. As far
mm,
as just like how everything is set up, skincare, everything. What is
yeah.
your routine? How do you keep happy outside of looking up trademarks?
That's so funny. So I actually, skincare wise or like healthcare, I mainly use like African products. So originally I'm from Ghana and I always grew up using like the organic black soap and organic shea butter, cocoa butter. So that's kind of what I stick with. And I think because they're so natural, it works. Sometimes I feel like our skincare isn't as harsh as some things in the US, but sometimes you can still, I have sensitive skin, so I just try and keep it basic. But in terms of a routine, I have been traveling a lot And now that I'm back in the UK, at least for the next 2 months, I've literally just started up my new like morning routine today. As I was telling you, we had the conversation, getting up at 5. I actually really enjoy just being outside. So we have a big yard. I go outside, I jump rope. I have a whole new workout regime. Today was not easy after yesterday, but I realized that when I do that, I feel better. Like after, I feel a lot more confident. And another thing I noticed is I feel more confident when I'm like really active and actually taking care of myself. And I feel more confident to show up. And I'm like, well, I went through a period where I wasn't filming any content. I wasn't really like showing up anywhere because I didn't feel confident in myself. And I was like, well, if this is like stopping me from like almost blocking me from my blessings, then it's time to like take back control of it, because I need to, like, it's up to me at the end of the day. So I'm like, okay, I'm intermittent fasting. I've got my 2.9 liters of water every day and just really being intentional. So, so far, so good. And I have so much more energy. So
Are you getting ready for Miami?
I am so excited. It
Okay.
obviously so last minute, but yeah, I'm very excited. The last
Wait,
time I was in Miami, was that?
wait, so were you not planning on going to the conference? And
Yeah,
then
I
you
was
got the
like,
ticket, or how did that work?
I was thinking about it because I'm coming in August for my birthday and for Invest Fest anyway.
Mhm.
And so I thought maybe I should just have 3 months solid in the UK, just, get back to a routine and one time zone. Because I've traveled about 9 times already this year. So I thought, let me just take a break. And when the whole day thing, he said that, yeah, if you get your ticket, you get into the draw. And I was like, let me just see. And then it worked. So I was like, okay. So I just had to shift things around, which I'm not mad at. I'm not mad
I know
at.
it, like it's just working out. Okay, so I'm excited to see you there. Yeah, I've been working on, I just want my butt a little bit bigger for the conference. I'm so excited because not only are we going to be able to learn so much, but we're going to be in the room with some pretty important people. And
Right.
this summer, I really just wanted to focus on when I show up in front of people who are bigger than me and where I'm at in my life, I want to be able to not only look good on the outside, but the inside as well. And
Yeah.
so, you look good on the outside. What are you doing for the inside? Your mind, your clarity, you're traveling a lot. So, like, how do you keep your sanity there? I know traveling
And
is exhausting. It's fun, but
yeah,
it's very exhausting.
it is. It really is, especially with time zones.
Mhm.
And I think coming back from this last trip, this will be the longest I've been in the UK now, up till July now. And I realized that my mindset wasn't as strong as it used to be. Like I was very self-doubting. I've always doubted myself, but it was getting more and more extreme to the point where like I wouldn't go for certain opportunities because I just was too afraid to speak up. And so I had like a moment of reflection where I've seen that I need to be my own like advocate. I'm advocating for others, but I need to advocate for myself as well. So what I
Mhm.
started doing is journaling. Again, I used to do that. So journaling really helps. Started saying affirmations again and listening to Jim Rohn and some other podcasts. So I always hear people go on and on about Jim Rohn. And I'm like, man, who's this old guy? I don't know if I want to listen to him. But I started when I got back to the UK. And there's one thing he said that really has been sticking with me that helps me to make sure I'm being intentional about my mindset. He said, beware of the thief on the street that wants to come after your purse, but even more, beware of the thief in your mind that wants to come after your promise, the thief that tells you that you're not good enough, that you're not smart enough, that you can't make it. And I'm like, whoa, that's the thief that has been like taking control of me for like the longest. I feel like it's had such a big hold on me. So now I am being very intentional about like, renewing my mind, reading things, listening to things, doing things that I enjoy, going for walks, listening to music, whatever it may be. So
Mhm.
whatever I feel in the moment of the day is what I'm trying to do to make sure I'm always in a good, like, mental state. So
Mhm. Is it hard with what you do? Like, for
not
work-wise?
not anymore, not with trademarks, no. I think I still have some difficulty where I feel like I have to, like, over, like, deliver, and I know that's always a good thing, but mine can be so extreme sometimes, and I think me working in the business by myself entirely is probably what's hurting me. I need to let go of control, which is something I'm slowly learning. I need to learn to trust people to help me and accept help where it's freely being given, because I've seen people are willing to help, but I'm so quick to say, "No, no, no, I got this," because of me thinking I have to do everything by myself, but I don't. So if it's hard, it's because I'm making it hard for
Mhm.
myself. So I am working to, alleviate some of the things that I don't need to be doing so that I can be happy outside of just happy. So
Mhm, mhm. Okay, I like that. Um, let's see. Tell me something right now that makes you happy outside of, like, journaling. Just what brings you pure joy right now?
right now, I'm gonna say my relationship with God.
Mhm.
That, like, me talking every day and taking time to listen and meditate and just knowing that, like, kind of looking back at my life and all the things I've been through, knowing that I'm still standing here today, like that, all I have to do is think about that and I'm immediately grateful. The fact that even though I'm not where I want to be and I am where you know that saying, I'm sorry, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be.
Right.
Just that recently has just been giving me so much, like, joy and motivation, and just yeah, so I think just that relationship that I have with God is, like, a major thing that is just keeping me happy, keeping my sanity, and just keeping me on track, so
What has helped you strengthen that, your relationship
I
with God?
I would say the difficult times more than even the good times, because it's like the good times are great and you're like, "Wow, this is amazing," but it's me going through, like, hard times throughout, like, so many things, whether it's relationships, whether it's work, whether it's family, whatever it may be, me and even just my own, like, limiting beliefs, me being in a low place and then being able to come out of that, not by myself, but through my relationship with God, I think that's what has really helped, because if it was all just good and all just rosy, I feel like I'd be grateful and I'd be happy, but I'd just be content.
Mhm.
But just being able to be so grateful for seeing where I could have been and where I actually am now, it's yeah, I think that really pulls me through. Like, I just have to think about how protected I am, how loved I am, and I'm like, it's like an instant, like, okay, you got this, keep going, don't stop, you're not done yet. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Is it church? Do you go to church for that
I
or
do, I
okay.
do, but I would say more so it's my own relationship. Like, I'll spend time, I'll read a passage, I will, like, listen to worship songs. I mean, don't get me wrong, I listen to all types of music, but there's like, I have the moments, like, in the mornings, meditating and just, like, really just soaking in, like, what I know to be true that God has planned for my life. So just having that knowledge and the relationship and also taking time to listen. I used to be the type to just be like, "Oh my gosh, this is wrong. Oh my gosh, I want this." But actually just stopping to, like, listen for guidance, just even just stopping to be grateful has I think that is a bigger part of it. I would say even if I wasn't going to church, that part, that personal relationship that nobody else has, like, it's me and God, it's like we're in the darkest, all the doors are closed, nobody's looking, who can you talk to? And I know I can talk to him and just it's real to me. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think that's been the biggest factor.
Mhm. And so when you're in those times of darkness and you're listening to your music and you're journaling and you're doing all those things, how do you differentiate the voice of, how do you know God is speaking to you? Like, what is that feeling for you, if that makes sense?
Yeah, it does. And I've had that question so many times, not just for me, like people just wanting to know.
Mm.
And it's like a almost, if it's not like an if you know thing, but it almost is. I'm not gonna lie to you, like my faith has grown a lot over the years. I used to be like, man, that's just me talking. Like,
Right,
I'm like,
right.
that wasn't God, that was me. Like, why do I keep thinking it's God? And then something like so specific will happen where I'm like, that couldn't have been me. So it was like my faith has been tested over the years, and I'm at the point now. And I said this to my mum the other day, and she was like bewildered, but I was like, Mum, God is like, he's real. Like, it's real. This isn't just like a, and she's like, of course he is. I'm like, no, 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 but like really real, because
Like,
I
I heard
had,
it.
yeah, like it's real. Like the things I've seen, like sometimes it's, you might not really trust the voice that you're hearing. And I feel like as humans, or myself, I still always like low-key doubt. Like even the thing with Miami, I was like, I'm not gonna buy a ticket because I don't plan on going. I don't plan on spending money on a ticket. I just said I was gonna stay. And then the next morning, I was like, if I buy this ticket, it's like I heard the voice of God, in my opinion, and it was, buy the ticket, take the faith, and you will get chosen. And I was like, there's so many people who could get chosen, like, and I'm like, so I was not sure. And then when they, they didn't call my name first, they called
Mhm.
someone else's name. And I was like, man, and I was, you're like, I knew it. But deep down, I was like, it's fine. And then he did it again and called my name. And then I heard the like, told you kind of thing. Like, you just need to trust in me more, because deep down, I did want to come to Miami. But I was thinking, maybe I should just stay grounded. But the other thing is, I'm learning that he keeps putting me in the right place to meet the right people at the right times. And that whole trip in America, that's all that was. I ended up meeting people who I never thought I would meet, people in my field, people outside of my field, and actually connecting with them. Even like you, for example, like if
Mm.
I didn't make that last trip, and that last trip was like a miracle in itself because I had done so much traveling. So I'm just it's almost like in retrospect and in hindsight, it's 2020 where you're like, okay, this wasn't just like a chance. This was not by chance. This was like the hand of God. So
Mhm.
that's how I'm taking it. I was like, let me take it, let's see. But with each one, it's always I feel like it's always a test. There's always something that's gonna make you say, hmm. But that's how it builds bit by bit each time. So
Mhm. And my connection with, like, morning meetup really feels godly. Something
mm,
about this circle is just so
yeah.
different from it. Shout out to morning meetup. It's so different than, like, any other circle I've been in, like, just the willingness and excitement for not only our businesses, but, like, us as people. You can feel it every single time I'm around anyone in that circle,
Yeah.
and it's
That
been one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had, for sure.
I completely agree. That's exactly how I feel. Like I haven't had, it's just, and even the way sometimes I'm like, how did I even end up here? Because
Right.
I'm in the UK, and like I'm like, how did I get this new family? I don't have what I have with the morning meetup anywhere else.
Right.
And so I wouldn't have opened my law firm if not for being in the morning meetup. I wouldn't have taken so many choices that I had made if not for being in the morning meetup. And it feels very divine. Like this is not just a random group. This is, like you said, like it feels like a God-driven thing. So
Right, right.
yeah,
This is exciting. Are you starting a podcast? Is that why you're going, or
I am. So I I had done Dave's challenge like a while ago, some years ago. But I had all the ideas and I hadn't done it yet. But after going this last trip, and also I've connected with so many people who are giving me ideas for the podcast. So there's two of them, and now I realized how I can merge it into one because I have two audiences, but I wasn't sure how to merge them, and now I kind of have a clearer idea. And
Mm.
just like utilizing people even in the morning meetup, like I haven't spoken to Dave about this, but speaking to people like Naya,
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, another guy called George. They're just hearing like bouncing the ideas off them. I'm like, wow, okay, so I can do this. So I am starting a podcast. I hope to start before I go there, but a lot of my guests are in the US as well. So hoping to maybe do some filming when I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited.
Okay. Do you have a name?
I do. So one of them is, well, I have a name for one of them. I almost did the Tiny Mike podcast because everybody loves the Tiny Mike,
I like
but
that. I like it.
I feel like it's not so obvious like what it's about. I want to help like business
Right.
owners, so it's very obvious. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe a segment, and then Journey to Attorney is the other one, which is me interviewing other lawyers and attorneys about their journeys to becoming attorneys, and that audience is to help like law school students, people taking the bar exam, because there's so many things like that alone is a journey, and I want, especially people who look like us, I want them to have that encouragement to know that even if they have to take the bar exam 4 or 5 times, like I did, you can still make it, you can still do it, and you can still like get the dream that you want. And so I want to inspire them through telling other people's stories, and everyone has a story around their journey to becoming an attorney. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the main one. And the
That's
other
a
one I'm still
It's a big
sorry.
deal becoming an attorney. Like, it's not easy.
Right.
Already,
Yeah.
I did like a little thing in high school where um that's what I originally wanted to do, and they had a little course that we could take. And the first day they gave us this amount of paperwork and stuck it on the desk and was like, read it. And I was like, what? Yeah, read it. You have a day. I was like, what? So I know that you're quite an incredible woman to even put up with it, do it, and to be where you are now and to be able to help people, especially that look like us, is a very big deal. And I definitely salute you for that.
Thank
So yeah,
you.
and I'm excited for your podcast because a lot of people definitely need that encouragement to keep going in that profession. So that's amazing.
Thank you.
So we got a couple minutes left. So we can actually go ahead and close this out. Can you close this out with a word for the audience and just let them know um anything, anything you want to say it.
Okay, well, I think the what's on my heart to say right now is just for anyone listening, whatever business you're in, whether you don't have a business, whether you're venturing, thinking about it, just don't give up. Don't give up on your dream, don't give up on your ideas, don't give up on your plans. Even if it takes a long time, that time will come. So I just want to encourage you, don't give up, don't let it go, just keep going and you will reach your destination. So that's what I'd like to say. And I think
Mhm.
that's it.
And let them know how they can reach out to you, find your podcast, all that type of stuff.
Okay, so Instagram is Elyon Esq, and
You're gonna
my
have to
YouTube channel is
go ahead and
spelled
spell
out.
Elyon. Yeah.
I like saying it like people know. Okay, so Elyon is my name, and then ESQ. So that's on Instagram, and the same thing on YouTube. When the videos start coming out, it's still loading.
Yes, yes. Well, they're watching now. They're going to be waiting. Thank you so much. This was an amazing, amazing podcast. We learned so much. We had so much introspection of just how you've been able to mentally stay focused and push yourself as well. So thank you so much. Um, yeah, that's it, and we're
Thank
out. Bye,
you. Thank
guys.
you. Bye.